Everyone got this story wrong. For years, every headline said the same thing. Dubai Creek Tower was built to destroy Burj Khalifa's record. The media said it. Even Dubai let the whole world believe it. But here's what nobody asked. If that was really the goal, why did Emaar never officially confirm the final height? Why did they go completely silent for 8 years? And why, when they finally came back, did they say something that changes everything? The truth behind Dubai Creek Tower isn't a comeback story, it's a confession. And once you hear it, you'll never look at Dubai the same way again. Let's go back to October 2016. Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid personally attended the groundbreaking. The architect was Santiago Calatrava, the same man whose buildings look less like structures and more like sculptures. The design was inspired by a lily flower, an Islamic minaret, and a sailing dhow. Cable stays fanning out like petals, an oval observation pod blooming at the top, a beacon of light visible from miles away at night. And the height, Emaar said, at least 1,300 meters. That one phrase made the whole world assume this was a declaration of war against Burj Khalifa. The internet went crazy, renders went viral. Dubai is building something bigger than Burj Khalifa. By May 2018, the foundation was complete. 145 barrette piles drilled into the earth, a world record for foundation work alone. Emaar said construction would finish by 2020, just in time for Expo. Everything was on track. The dream was real. And then, absolute silence. No cranes, no workers, no updates. For 2 full years before COVID even existed, this site was dead. Just a massive hole in the ground worth $500 million, sitting there in the Dubai heat doing nothing. Then COVID hit in April 2020, and Emaar officially paused construction. The internet accepted that excuse. Everyone moved on. But here's what didn't add up. Emaar didn't just pause the project, they deleted it. Every render, every mention, every page on their website, gone. Like it never happened. Think about that. This is the company that built the Burj Khalifa, the most famous building on Earth. They don't delete things out of embarrassment. They delete things when something fundamental has changed. And nobody asked why. No journalist, no channel. Nobody pushed back on the official COVID story. But if you look at the timeline carefully, construction had already stopped in 2018. The moment the foundation was done, before COVID, before any pandemic. The site went cold the second the underground work was finished. That's not a delay, that's a decision. And here's the part that makes it even more suspicious. Between 2018 and 2023, while that site sat completely empty, luxury residential towers around it were selling out. Waterfront apartments were being handed over. Billions of dollars were flowing into Emaar's bank accounts from the surrounding district. The tower wasn't built, but it was already doing its job. Here's what everyone missed. Dubai Creek Tower was never designed to be a standalone record breaker. From day one, it was the centerpiece of something much, much larger. Dubai Creek Harbour, a 6-square-kilometer district, a $180 billion ecosystem of malls, residences, waterfront promenades, and retail hubs. And here's the thing about building a world record tower in the middle of empty desert. You can't just announce it and expect people to invest. When you have 6 square kilometers of swamp and coastline with nothing on it, nobody pays millions for an apartment there. You need an anchor. You need a myth. Something so big, so impossible, so globally talked about that people start believing the land around it is worth something. The tower was never the product. The tower was the advertisement. Think about how Burj Khalifa works. It's surrounded by Dubai Mall, the fountain, the entire downtown Dubai district. The tower itself makes money, but the real money is in everything around it. The property values, the retail, the tourism spillover, billions in revenue generated not by the tower, but because of the tower. And there's something else nobody talks about. In a super tall tower, the upper 40% of the structure is essentially useless space. Too narrow for offices, too unstable for apartments. Wind forces at that height make it impossible to use commercially. You spend billions building it, and it generates zero rent. It exists purely for the record, purely for the headline. Emaar knew all of this. They invented this formula with Burj Khalifa. So when Creek Tower went silent, they weren't abandoning the dream. They were waiting for the ecosystem to catch up. The mall wasn't ready. The metro line wasn't confirmed. The district wasn't designed yet. You don't put the crown jewel in the window before the store is built. And now, the store is almost ready. On January 2026, Dubai International Project Management Forum, Mohammed Al-Abar, the man who built Burj Khalifa, walks on stage and says three things that nobody expected. First, the tender for Creek Tower will be offered in 3 months. The project is alive. Second, we have changed the design, even though the previous one had already been announced. 8 years of silence, and the design is different now. And third, this is the line that changes everything. After the Burj Khalifa, altitude alone is no longer enough. Read that again slowly. The founder of Emaar, the company the whole world assumed was racing for the world's tallest title, just admitted that height was never the real goal. And not only that, the new Creek Tower will actually be shorter than Burj Khalifa. This isn't a pivot. This is a confession. They were never in the height race. They let the media run that story because it generated billions in free publicity and pre-launch hype. And now that Dubai Creek Harbour is ready, the district is designed, Dubai Square Mall is confirmed, the Metro Blue Line is locked in, they don't need the hype anymore. They need the building. And the foundation, those 145 barrette piles have been sitting underground since 2018, perfectly preserved, structurally intact, ready to go. The moment a contractor is selected, vertical construction begins immediately. No excavation, no groundwork, straight up. 8 years of waiting, and they can start building tomorrow. Now here's where I want you to think for yourself, because there are two completely valid ways to read this story. Version 1. This is the smartest long game in architectural history. Dubai realized early that chasing height was a losing strategy. Saudi's Jeddah Tower had already restarted in January 2025 and is now pushing past 185 floors, targeting over 1 kilometer. Dubai couldn't win that race without spending tens of billions more. So instead of losing publicly, they changed the rules privately. They spent 8 years building an ecosystem worth $180 billion around the tower. Now, they return not as a record chaser, but as a city builder. Beauty over brutalism. Legacy over meters. It's mature, it's strategic, and honestly, it might be genius. Version 2. This is the most expensive rebrand in history. The original design was too ambitious, too costly, and structurally too risky. The redesign to something shorter than Burj Khalifa isn't a philosophical shift. It's a financial survival move dressed up in beautiful language. Aesthetics over altitude sounds inspiring. But what it actually means is, they couldn't build what they promised, so they changed what they promised. Both versions are supported by the same facts. That's what makes this story so fascinating. Was the silence a strategy or a struggle? Was the redesign a vision or a retreat? I genuinely don't know, and I don't think anyone outside Emaar's boardroom does either. Dubai Creek Tower is coming back. The foundation is ready, the tender is live, the ecosystem is being built around it. But the real question isn't whether this tower gets built. It's whether the world will accept a Dubai that no longer needs to be the tallest. Because if they pull this off, if they build something that people don't visit for a world record, but come back to just because it's genuinely beautiful, that's a more impressive achievement than any height record ever could be. Drop your take in the comments. Genius move or expensive cover-up? I want to know where you stand. And if you want to follow this project as it actually rises, subscribe and hit the bell. This story is just getting started.